Welcome and thank you to my 50 sub video. Uh, you've probably seen me uploading lots of PvP vids, and I'm sure you're wondering, what does my team look like? What do my guys look like on the back, behind the scenes? Well, my special treat for you all here today is I'm going to show you every single one of my builds and what moves they have and what stats they have. Alright, we got OBS recording my N64. This is all official original hardware. Pokemon Stadium 2 is in there. Took the capture card. Got my controller, yellow. I should turn this off first. And inside here we got my silver card. Yes, this is actually a Pokemon Silver cartridge. I asked for the worst one the guy had so I could pay the least amount for it because I knew I was just going to repair it and use it for this Living Competitive decks. Let's just pop it in my Game Boy Color. And we'll see that it has exactly the same save as you will be shown in a minute. Unfortunately, the A button on this Game Boy is kind of finicky. You really gotta press on it. Something about the clock time being wrong? I don't know. Hopefully I didn't just brick my cart or set it back to the beginning. I do have a backup save with my PC that's stored though, so it's not the biggest deal. Yeah, let's check out my party Pokemon. Yep. All level 100, max stat, legendaries, and an unknown. Yeah, you can see in just a second that this is in fact the cartridge I'm using to that I'm recording from. So as you've seen, the cartridge is physical. This is all physical hardware. It's real. The save file itself is hacked onto that cartridge just using a save editor. But everything here is pretty legit, following typical competitive gameplay. My party consists of Uber's tier, as well as an unknown, because it was the last Pokemon from the living competitive decks that I didn't make because he only has this. So, because the rentals suck in Pokemon Stadium 2, I literally just made every Pokemon with all of their sets, so that way people just have better rentals to choose from. I call it a living competitive dex because it's the entire dex, it's a living dex, but it's also, they're all trained for competitive PvP, and it's all the most popular sets they could have. So Uber's is condensed just to one set each, and that's because Uber's isn't a cool tier to play anyway. It's kind of lame. These are really more for if someone just wants to have a challenge run or something. Get the Mewtwo with that stuff. This is Gen 2, so there's no physical special split, so Shadow Ball's physical. So Curse boosts up his physical attack as well. And with Recover, he's just an absolutely nutty Digimon. Curse can really get out of hand. That's Gen 2 meta in a nutshell, is if someone can get Curse a bunch of times. Same thing with Lugia. Curse flying is physical. Lugia's special defense is insane, so having a bunch of Curse stacks on him makes him just invincible. He's probably the best guy in the entire game. Ho-Oh, just kind of a mix set. Doesn't have access to the same kind of stuff that Lugia and Mewtwo have for Curse. Mew's kind of weird because it can learn any move, but you can only teach it moves that you can learn in the game. So this strange amalgamation of moves, thanks to Gen 1 trading, is how it has recovery, stat ups, and a physical move to hit with, which is Shadow Ball. And of course, Shadow Ball's really good in Ubers, theoretically, because there's so many psychics. Celebi is, for Ubers, just a cleric. It's a really good thing that this isn't an OU, because Gen 2 battles already take long enough. But it's pretty straightforward. You seed, you bell, you recover. Yeah. There he is. So, Blissey, the special defense tank, has Toxic because it has no real damage output. Fire Blast just to really push the damage it can do. Also to hit Skarmory for extra damage because he's a pretty big player in the metagame. Soft Bell for healing, and Heal Bell for status removal on your team. Heal Bell is a pretty rare move, so any Pokemon that can learn it really has an advantage in their niche in the metagame. Cloyster was one of the few guys who learned Spikes back then. Entry hazards. I think he learned it in Crystal only. Pokemon Crystal introduced Spikes to a few Pokemon that didn't have it before. Also, there were New York Poke Center events where you could get Pokemon with special moves like Nidoking with Morning Sun or Eevee with Growth, so you'll see some of that later. Also, Explosion access is pretty good. Cloyster is just really good all around. And in Gen 2, Explosion is really stupid. It ignores their defense, so yeah, it does a lot of damage, even someone with like a mediocre amount of attack. Exeggutor also has Explosion, he has Sleep Powder, because you don't got much else really in Gen 2 to work with. You'll probably also have noticed everyone has Leftovers, because there really isn't a better item in Gen 2. Psychic and Giga for stab hits. The hidden power on this fortress is Bug. Unfortunately, Stadium doesn't tell you what the hidden power is when you have it on your Pokemon. And hidden power is a really good move in Gen 2, because there's not a lot of coverage moves. For example, there's no Bug move with good damage. But you can see Fortress, he spikes, he Toxic, he explodes. The Bug hidden power is just there if he can throw in a few extra hits. So, because this game doesn't tell you what your hidden power is, I literally memorized every single hidden power. I'm not kidding. If someone comes over, I can tell them what the hidden power of that Pokemon is. Gengar. Such a fun guy. He could have Explosion, but I went for Destiny Bond, kind of for thematic purposes, and it's a bit different than Explosion. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. Thunder and Ice gives you perfect coverage in the older gens, so you'll always have at least a neutral damage hit on somebody. And for physical, Ground and Rock are what you get for perfect coverage. So people call it Bolt Beam for Thunderbolt Ice Beam, or Quick Slide for its Quick Rock Slide, but Gengar can only learn Ice Punch, so we get Ice Punch. And also Hypnosis with its 60% accuracy. It's pretty cheesy, but his move pool isn't that great anyway. Heracross. So, because I hacked the save file, I decided to make things interesting. I gave him Mega Horn and Cross Chop, because he's really boring with just, Reversal? I think, actually, yeah, he learns Mega Horn normally, I think. He does. So yeah, I just gave him Cross Chop, I think, instead of Hidden Power Fighting. So I guess technically that's an illegal Pokemon, but whatever. It's fun. Oh yeah, Rest Talk is a really common set in Gen 2, because if Sleep Talk can choose Rest, and if it does, you reset your Rest counter to 2 and heal. So it's kind of ridiculous. Also, Cross Chop is really good in Gen 2 OU, because Snorlax is a huge threat who likes to stack curses. So if you crit, you go past all their defense buffs, and it's a super effective hit. Jolteon, he's fast. His hidden power is Ice. He can baton pass and agility. Same thing here, but he has Substitute. Yep, there's a curse setup on this guy. He's got Cross Chop, Rock Slide, and his hidden power is also Bug. The reason why it's Bug is because it can hit Exeggutor for 4 times damage. Exeggutor is kind of slow, and it's a pretty decent Pokemon that you see here and there. So it's nice to have a counter to that, and they're definitely not expecting it. Also, Bug is physical, so it's going to work off that 354 physical stat. A lot of Pokemon can just carry Curse, and if they're in a situation where they can get a Curse off, they'll just do it. That's kind of what Machamp's like. He's not really a dedicated Curse setup guy. Yeah, Curse Talk with Rest. Or, I guess that's what you could call it. It's a pretty common set. It's straightforward bread and butter Gen 2. Here's a guy without Leftovers, because Thick Club obviously doubles his attack. With one Swords Dance, I think he hits like 999 attack. Pretty sure it caps at that in Stadium 2. In the actual Game Boy Color games, it glitches and goes to 0, so don't use Swords Dance with Thick Club in Marowak if you're playing on the Game Boy games. Quake Slide. Hidden Power is also Bug for Exeggutor. Miltank has Heal Bell. That is why she's in OU. Milk Drink for a heal, Body Slam to potentially get a Paralyze. Growl, of all things, because she really doesn't have that many good moves. Growl is to really just mess with curse setup, guys. So if they have a Snorlax, you just Growl. He'll have the defenses, but he might not have the attack. It sounds really silly, but you can keep Miltank in there because in Gen 2, all your EVs are maxed. All your IVs are maxed, so that essentially just makes the game slower because your HP and defenses are higher. Plus, she's got a healing attack and leftovers. Mischievous is only in OU because she completely wrecks Snorlax, who is the king of OU. She's Ghost, she's not hurt by his stab physical. She mean looks him, she parasongs, she protects, and then hopes that he dies. Thunder's just on there in case you need to use it for something else. It's a good special move. Like I said earlier, Ghost is physical, so strangely enough, Gengar and Mischievous stab Ghost moves works up their attack. It's not very good. Here's the Nidoking. This one is Lovely Kiss. That was one of the New York Poké Center moves you can get. Because all your stats are maxed, he works as not only a split attacker, but just a maxed out split attacker. He has Stab, Earthquake, and Bolt Beam. Nidoking is, because of this, Nidoking is just so hard to switch into, because he has coverage for everything. If they can predict your switch, they can super effective you, pretty much. Same thing, but he has Morning Sun. That was the other New York Poké Center move. Porygon 2, Curse, Stab, Return, Recover. Ice Beam if you don't get the curses off because you got good special attack. Kind of lackluster, but I don't know. If you want a second Snorlax. Raikou! Raikou and Zapdos fulfill the second most important role in Gen 2 OU, which is just being a fast electric type. His hidden power is Ice because Bolt Beam, Electric Ice, full coverage. He's got Rest to recover HP, and in which case you might want to switch in like Chansey or Blissey and use Heal Bell to wake him up, then switch him in later. Because he's not really going to want to stay in for 2 turns to wake up. And he's got Roar. If enemy Snorlax is cursing, he Roar. And Snorlax has a huge amount of special defense, so he doesn't do a lot of damage to it. You got to use Roar to mess with it. Reflect, also to help against Snorlax. You can set up a Reflect that really stops enemy physical damage. It's kind of nice to have on a Raikou because he's very useful anyway. The third set, Sleep Talk, Rest Talk, Raikou. I think this is the most standard one. Maybe Roar is preferred in many cases, I don't know. Rhydon, he balls Snorlax. That's his entire job. That's why he has Roar. He has Curse in case he gets the chance to throw it off. He's got Stab, Quake, Slide. Not much to say about him. A second Rhydon build. This one is Substitute. I think the idea being that this one is more dedicated to curse stacking, so Substitute protects you from statuses, and you can tank a special hit if you need it. Skarmory is probably the third most important Pokemon, along with Blissey and OU, because Skarmory has amazing defense and resistance to physical types, and Blissey has only one weakness and extremely good special defense, so you can switch between the both of them to essentially take no damage to just basic attackers. This set is pretty much the set for Skarmory. The Curse can really stack up and do some real damage, especially with Drill Peck. He's one of the few Pokemon that gets Drill Peck. He's got Rest, same idea. HP goes up. You can switch to Blissey and wake him up Heal Bell, but he's got so much defense he might be able to just stay in. Whirlwind, it just messes with Snorlax. This is a very silly build that has Thief, and he has no item, so you steal one of their leftovers, hopefully Snorlax's. It's very silly, but it works. Onto the big man himself, it's Snorlax. Ridiculous base stats. Stab normal type. He's got Sleep Talk of Curse. Recoil in Gen 2 is abysmal. You do not see any real recoil damage, so you don't have to worry about double edge at all. Leftovers heals more than you recoil. Yeah, this guy is the central of OU. He takes barely any damage from special, and after a few curses, he's just invincible. That's why you need Hazers or Roar. There's actually a ton of different builds of Snorlax, and even though I did give a lot of builds to other Pokemon, because Snorlax is such a central part of the metagame, I just limited it to 2 builds on this save. This is obviously the super aggro one. He learns Lovely Kiss from a New York Poké Center event. Yeah, if you don't feel like curse setting up, this is a good one. Another good Snorlax set was Fire Blast to deal with Skarmory, because people switch him in to help while Snorlax is physical. But, I don't know. It's kind of meh. Starmie is super duper fast with high special attack. I don't think they meant to make this thing psychic. I think that was a mistake in development. I think Golduck was supposed to be psychic, and this one was supposed to be pure water. But because she's psychic, it has a stab psychic, which is dumb. And also, it's one of the few rapid spinners in Gen 2. Steelix kind of plays the same role as Skarmory, but he has Explosion, Roar, Curse, all that good stuff. He's got bigger defense. You could have like a secondary Skarmory, essentially. One maybe more dedicated to doing damage with Earthquake for better special hits. Suicune. I guess you could run like a Sleep Talk set as well, but much like Raikou, you kind of use Suicune like utility. Like, it's really good tanky utility with good specials. And defense is 328. Like, Suicune's really tanky. It's good to just throw Roars, Toxics off. Maybe throw some Surfs. Tyranitar, there's 4 of them. He's very, very variable in what he can do. Rock Slide, Crunch, Rest, Fire Blast. His special attack is pretty dang good at 288. Fire Blast to take care of enemy steals who might not think you have it. Crunch for the stab. Crunch. People definitely don't expect a stab crunch from Tyranitar in Gen 2, where Dark is a special move. This one's a lot more standard. It's just Curse Talk with Rock Slide Stab. This one I like a lot, Ice Beam, because Ice Beam hits super effective against so many OU Pokemon. It's just such a good attacking type. And Stab Dark Pursuit is pretty nasty. It can really mess up like Ghosts and Psychics that would want to switch out. The last one, this is a real set, I swear. This is the Balls to the Wall set. You don't care if you miss or not. But, yeah, people have used this. Dynamic Punch Tyranitar. It really is just a 2-shot Snorlax and confuse him. It's maybe not likely to happen because of the miss chance, but that's how desperate people are to deal with Snorlax in Gen 2. He's just that big. Yeah, Umbreon. You get Toxic people. Charm them. Charm to deal with Curse users as, you know, it's like the Growl on Miltank, but it's better. He is so tanky, so Rest is just so good on him. Pursuit, if you Toxic Charm them, they are probably going to switch. May as well do some damage, possibly knock them out. This one is more of a Umbreon, you want him to kill people and do things. Yeah, he'll heal off Moonlight, Mean Look to keep them in while they're confused and paralyzed, or poisoned. It's like Koga's strategy from the Elite Four. Vaporeon has the exact same role as Suicune, but she has growth because of the Poke Center event where Eevee learned growth. So you can possibly stack up your special attack while rest talking. That's why she's an OU. Zapdos hidden power is Ice. This one's Ice. And it's just a rest talk set. This Zapdos one has Grass, however. And the reason why it has hidden power Grass is to hit Rhydon and Rock grounds. Unlike Raikou, this guy's weak to rock attacks, so a lot of rock types are rock ground. Having a hidden power Grass could help deal with that. Usually I think the Ice one's preferred anyway, because, I don't know, they could just use like a Steelix or something to be immune to Thunderbolt. I guess, though. Yeah, so the Ice move would be hitting for 2 times where Grass wouldn't. I guess just some people did this, so I included it. Aerodactyl didn't even have a Rock Stab in Gen 1. He's very lucky to have Ancient Power here. Doesn't have Rock Slide. He has Fire Blast, because his move pool is just so limited. His hidden power is Flying, because that's his stab flying move, believe it or not. That is his stab, his hidden power. So many flying Pokemon have that, because Drill Peck was so exclusive. The Alakazam officially marks the move to UBU. And honestly, I'm not going to go over all their stats and stuff. I'm just going to show you the Pokemon by tier. And you can see Scizzor's got a lot of sets because he only has 4 moves, but he wants to have more. Especially because he's such a good baton passer. It's like, do you want to send a Swords Dance Agility, a substitute Swords Dance? So many possibilities. Ampharos marking the move to RU or whatever comes next. I don't really remember. Gligar is kind of interesting because he's so bad that he has Rest and Thief while holding a Mint Berry. He learns Earthquake through Pokemon Stadium too if you beat like the Elite Four or something. He doesn't even learn Earthquake normally. I don't know why his moveset is so bad. Early gen Pokemon, they sometimes just didn't give them moves. Oh yeah, I gave Pinsir Mega Horn because he was using Hidden Power Bug, and it was just sad that the Pokemon with giant horns on its head wouldn't have Mega Horn. I think Scyther's got, yeah, Hidden Power Bug with Wing Attack. You can see how Hidden Power really helped patch out this game a lot. This entire gen. Light Ball was a thing, and Pikachu could learn Surf and Sing simultaneously. The Hidden Power is Ice. Or no, sorry, the Hidden Power is Fire on Pikachu. That's to hit Steel types, I think. Oh, it's hit the grass. You know, it's to hit Grass types because he's in a lower tier. That's what it is. Ariados sadly doesn't really have a niche because Smeargle stole his niche of having the move Spiderweb. So here he can at least use Sludge Bomb to have more attack, but he's probably just going to pass on the agility. Disable, Protect, Baton Pass. So you Spiderweb them, you disable their best move, you Baton Pass. It's not amazing, but that's all he has. Zoomerl had Belly Drum. A lot of early sets, man. Delibird actually learned Spikes. So he's got Spikes set up. He thiefs the opponent's leftovers. Some of these Pokemon are really trying just to be relevant in the later tiers. Like this guy. Golduck, I really like Golduck, even though he's low tier. He's got Cross Chop. He just learns Cross Chop. Sure, why not? Ladian, kind of the poster boy for being a Pokemon that has no real good thing it can do. I just made it part of a Baton Pass team. It has Barrier that it learns naturally, so yeah, Substitute Barrier. Giga Drain if for some reason you feel like attacking. Oh yeah, I gave this Furret Extreme Speed because Furret's not very good anyway. So I was like, you know what, Shadow Ball for coverage, Extreme Speed to get priority +3 or whatever, even though you're cursing your speed away. Yeah, Dunsparce's only setback here was to just be the crit hacks guy. You put them into a paralysis state of glare, swagger them, psych up, so you take the attack up, then you just headbutt them. You can possibly flinch them, paralyze, or confuse, so they won't attack you, and you just pray. I really love Dunsparce, but he doesn't do much with his stats and move pool. Yeah, Murkrow is interesting because it learns some decent attacks, but its stats are not great. Yeah, it has Drill Peck. Feint Attack can do some decent damage with its special attack, but it's carrying Nightshade because it doesn't do a lot of damage. This one has Thief, but no item. I like Noctowl a lot, but he doesn't do a whole lot. He does have a ton of special defense. Reflect helps make him a bit bulky. Nightshade for fixed damage because he doesn't do damage on his own. Pineco's actually a higher tier because he can use Spikes, Toxic Explosion, Rapid Spin. So below OU, that's kind of your Spike starter if you want it. Sneasel's a Pokemon that has literally no good moves in Gen 2. So it doesn't even learn Swords Dance, it doesn't learn Shadow Ball. It does learn Counter, I think, and it does learn Moonlight, I think. So I just thought I'd make Sneasel fun to use because it's such a cool Pokemon. Give it some moves that are characteristic of it. Give it a little bit of things it can do, like counter and attack, because it's so frail. This part here is just NFE Pokemon that weren't in a higher tier. So yeah, I didn't really give them that much attention. Below that's just LC, so I'll just level cut stuff. And yeah, that is my living competitive decks for Gen 2. You saw it in action in that recent fake Digimon video. And yeah, this took probably, I don't know, I'd say 20 hours to make the save. Quite a bit of equipment to set it up. Like you saw, I have an N64, the control pack, transfer pack, that's what it is. A silver cartridge. The game itself, I mean, I picked that stuff up over the years. I just always wanted to pick up N64 stuff because it's the last cartridge system until Switch. And I hate discs because they scratch and break. And I love cartridges because you can just pick them out of flea market bins and they still work for the most part. This is a super fun thing to play with friends at parties. Just whip it out, play some Pokemon as you remember it. Hear that cool stadium announcer again. And I really hope you enjoyed this tour of my living competitive decks on IRL hardware. If it wasn't for the fact that this was all hacked in with a save editor, it would be really, really impressive. Instead, it's just pretty impressive, I'd say. Alright, sub for spub. See you guys in the future. Thanks a lot for 50 subscribers.